Salman, I mean, one of the humblest souls. He's such a sweetheart. I mean, he and I interact on WhatsApp and all that. The most humble and modest people going around in the industry. Congratulations on maintaining your humbleness, because you're an up-and-coming superstar in the industry. Folks, people who do not know Salman, hails from Karachi, basically from Hyderabad, you were telling me, and still understands Punjabi very well. So I just, floated some Punjabi words, and he was, wow, yeah, I do understand it. So I said, wow, that's amazing. So he is running a fantastic show. He calls it as the Islamic Economic Project. Did I spell it right? Islamic Economic Project. And if you don't know what he's doing, he sends all of us personal messages and what he's done. Google it. Google it and see how easy it is to understand what he's doing, and he's doing a wonderful service in an absolute humble manner. So congratulations to you on that. And this is why, it's a pleasure and this is how Allah has arranged it. For us to be a part, for you to be a part of this session, it's a huge pleasure for us. And to pick your brain on what do you think is the core problem that Islamic economic system has or can address, and how does social finance fit into it?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, thank you, Dr. Mustaghis and the organizers, for giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts. So it's a very important question, and my respected colleagues have already answered most aspects of it. So if I would just mention one big problem that we have in the current financial system, including the Islamic financial system, is the financial exclusion. And especially when it comes to the credit services. We hear a lot about financial inclusion, but what we mean by financial inclusion is that people should have bank account. If they have savings, they should park their savings in the bank accounts. But when it comes to getting financing or credit from the banks, the financial exclusion in credit services is even higher than financial exclusion in saving accounts or in deposit category. So a lot of statistics are floated. Less than 5% people have access to formal financial services from the banks when it comes to credit. And when we look at Islamic banks, also we find that they are not much very active in this, unfortunately. Right now, if we have to give an example of Islamic microfinance, we do not have an example from Islamic banks to quote. We have example of Akhuwat to quote, which is not a banking institution, but it is still doing what even the full-fledged Islamic banks or the whole Islamic banking industry is not able to do. So financial exclusion is a very important problem. If we look at the financing that is provided to SMEs and agriculture combined, if you look at the industry is providing just 8 to 10% of its credit to the agriculture and SME sector. And this sector employs 85% of the people, agriculture and SMEs combined. And if you look at the Islamic banking share, the share of Islamic banking in SMEs and agriculture is even lower than the conventional banks. So we are not even, competing.
Salman, any idea how much is the share?
It's like, less than 5% combined for agriculture and SMEs.
Oh my God, that is a disaster.
So this is where I think we are missing a lot of people who are really in need of finance, and they want a lot from Islamic finance. They have promise in Islamic finance, but they are not being served well. Now this gap is being filled very, you can say, effectively and efficiently by Islamic social finance institutions. We have the example of Akhuwat. It is serving millions of families. It is bringing change in millions of households. So it is a very bright example, and it has shown that you can even work with modes of Qard Hasan. You can even work with a very simple infrastructure. I have been to Akhuwat. We have done a primary survey of Akhuwat's activities, and we have seen before our own eyes that how a simplistic structure can still be scaled up to the level where now Akhuwat is one of the largest Islamic microfinance in the world. In fact, largest microfinance in the world, using Qard Hasan-based model. So what we need in Islamic finance is that we need to have more focus on SMEs and agriculture. We need to have more Islamic microfinance banks being established. And we need to also revitalize the institutions of Islamic social finance, the other institutions like Waqf, like Zakat. So if you look at Zakat, a lot of Pakistanis pay a lot of charity. And estimates say that 500 billion to 700 billion charity is paid annually by Pakistanis. But through the government, only 7 to 8 billion rupees of zakat is collected. The reason is trust deficit. So if this trust deficit can be plugged, then definitely this institution has a lot of potential. People do pay to charity. A lot of bright institutions in the social finance like Al Khidmat, like Indus Hospital, like SIUT, Shaukat Khanam, all these institutions are running on people's charities. So people do have resources, they do give to charity. What is important is that we need to bring in efficiency, scalability, and effective outreach. And that is where, as you move forward, and you were discussing that you would also touch upon the element of technology, that how can technology be used to bring in efficiency and to scale the models that are successful. So Akhuwat is a very excellent example of doing public-private partnership and also using a very simplistic infrastructure and also embracing technology to basically provide financial services in an efficient and in a scalable way.
Well, I told you he's a little humble genius. I told you that, and this just showed. It's a very classy act. I thought he's fell asleep. Nowhere near he was asleep, What great submissions with data support, and what a great case he has very quickly, humbly yet geniusly made in favor of social